Before taking a look at this video, make sure that you've also gone ahead and looked at just present subjunctive 2 in general. Right now we're going to look at the if-only statement. So present subjunctive 2, while it's good for polite requests and suggestions, it's really, really good for wishes. I feel like I'm saying them an awful lot. But we also utilize this for wishes. And oftentimes with that, in English, comes this idea of if only. So, if we're expressing a wish, the if only for us in German will be wenn nur. So, what you'll notice is I'm using a couple sets of ellipses, because if you're only saying if only I, wenn ich nur, blah blah blah. If only you, wenn du nur. So wenn nur is the construct, but what's going to happen right here is the subject of the statement is going to get interjected. So wenn dot 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 nur dot dot dot. And of course this certainly helps because we have the word if and then we have the word only. So at least we're still kind of using the two words we need in German. So let's go ahead and consider what these wishes might be. Let's first look at an example where we're using würden plus an infinitive. Oops. It's quite a bit more challenging to write with this. All right, so as I stated before, we're going to use the wenn nur construct. So, if only you Okay, so, wenn du nur dein Buch lesen würdest. If only you would read your book. This feels like something I would yell at my brother a lot growing up. So a few things to note. One is because we're starting with wenn, if statement, that makes this very much in the vein of a subordinating clause. And if you recall, dealing with subordinating conjunctions, therefore subordinating clauses, the conjugated verb gets pushed to the end of the statement or clause. So, du würdest, that's the du würdest lesen, you would read, du würdest lesen, is typically what it would say, but we have to bump this würdest at the end of the clause. So, wenn du nur dein Buch lesen würdest becomes literally, if you only your book read would, which is very Yoda, and when we have Yoda, we kind of want to make sure we're a little bit more careful. There's my bad Yoda drawing. Poor Yoda. Sorry, George Lucas. It does sound very much like Yoda, but this is grammatically correct. So we have wenn nur, we have our subjunctive, so würdest. For this example, we could use wäre and hätte later, and then of course we have bumped this to the end of the clause. You'll also typically notice that the if-only statements have exclamation points. These are quite exclamatory in nature. So if you want, you could be like, oh, if only you would read your book. And now that definitely sounds like something I would have yelled at my brother. Okay, so an example with würden. Let's do one where we're utilizing wären. Don't forget, that means would be. Now, this one I think I'm going to consider using a negation with, right? So not only is a wish to be something, but you could also utilize this as something like to not. So, Wenn nur is our construction. Nicht, if only, nicht gemein wäre. Alright, so like, if only he would not be mean. If only he weren't mean is a better idea. So, wäre bumps to the end, conjugated to go with the subject, which is So if only he weren't mean, if only he would not be mean, is the construct of this particular clause. Utilize an adjective. This one I certainly wanted to include a negation as sort of a sample. So, werden. Next up, we can utilize a hätten format, which for all intents and purposes, hätten would have. Sorry, writing and talking at the same time is a bit of a challenge today. So we want a wenn nur construction. Let's throw out, let's do something about we. If only we would have no homework. Ha ha ha. Thought you might like that. So our if only construct, we have our subject, we, and it's conjugated, the hätten is conjugated to go with that. So if we only no homework would have. So if only we would have no homework, basically this is our negation. So if only we wouldn't have homework is sort of the same thing. So I just kind of used a negation with keine instead of nicht in this construct. So, wenn wir nur keine Hausaufgaben hätten, if only we had no homework, wouldn't life be grand? Alright, let's put this into practice. Übung, macht den Meister. Okay, for number 2, consider this. Utilize the hätten and see if you could do this if only statement. If only I had time. Or sorry, if only I would have time. If only I would have time. And for number 3, using the wären, if only we would be quiet. If only we would be quiet. If only we would be quiet. So those are your 3 sentences. Go ahead and write those in German, and we shall check those out later. Danke!